Dixie here. You're about to watch a recording of a live chat that I did with my patrons on Patreon. We've been doing these chats for like 7 years now. They used to last maybe a couple of hours, and now we've had some that are over 8 hours, although everybody knows they're not obligated to stay that long. We just really enjoy talking to one another. We mix it up between doing a YouTube live stream type chat to a Zoom meeting. Our next meeting is gonna actually be through the Zoom platform on May 14th. So if you're interested in stopping by and seeing how it all works, you can find out how to do so in the video description below. Hope everybody is doing well. Let's see. Oh, y'all have been on here chatting. That makes me so happy. You and Aaron. You and Heron. I'm back in Florida with the herons. Hit the ball out of the park on the Eclipse video. Really caught the essence and emotion of the event. Good job. Eclipse number 2 coming up in the future. So I have to, yes, I want to do all the eclipses in the future, preferably. But I'm going to tell y'all something else. So that video is actually synced perfectly with the Dark Side of the Moon album. So if you, and he has a version of that playing, but there are little bits of things that that line up with lyrics and different parts of that that record. There was only, I think, one comment on YouTube that was like, why is nobody talking about how this lines up perfectly with Dark Side of the Moon? But he wanted people to, like, you know, notice. So anyway, I just told y'all that little tidbit, but we were trying to figure out a way to upload that version to y'all so that y'all could see that. But anyway, but I'm glad that y'all did like it. Thank you, Laurel. The next eclipse is in Spain, right? In 2020, is it 2026? Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, Spain. You'll be able to see in Iceland, but while I would rather go to Iceland than Spain, I would be nervous about cloud cover in Iceland. So, but yeah, there could be a Camino that could be done. I'm just saying, I'll have it like a 2-year-old at that time. But kids on the Camino is absolutely a thing. Yeah, why not? Sounds like another trip for Montana. Yeah, she's gonna say, I'm busy at that time, but my mom would definitely go. When I fly over, it's very rare to see Iceland through the clouds. Yeah, yep, exactly. That's my concern. John wanted to know how I plan to get the baby into, you know, ease the baby into the world of backpacking and all that stuff. And honestly, I think it's just gonna happen. Like I want to have this baby outside in the outdoors as much as possible. Going for walks, going for hikes, even, you know, I've seen like these strollers that you can take on trails and stuff. So I want the baby out there doing that stuff. I want its little feet touching the ground before it can stand, you know? Like I want it exposed to those things so that it doesn't know any different. So it's not afraid of bugs or, you know, nature or whatever. And then as soon as we can start going camping with it, I want to do that. And Rodney still wants to go on a proper backpacking trip. So he wants to go like to Glacier or something like that. So, but anyway, at some point, you know, we'll take the baby. He can carry more gear and I can carry the baby and we'll go. So just kind of, as much as it can be a part of it from the very beginning, I want that to happen and to acclimate it that way. How do you tie things to the bottom of your pack, like a tent? Do you need extra straps on the bottom? Yes. So that's why I love the ULA pack. And you could probably, I mean, if you're going to waterproof your pack with like a pack liner anyway, if y'all are crafty and know somebody that has a sewing machine or you have a sewing machine or whatever, you could probably strap something like that on yourself. But, you know, I understand if you don't want to put a hole in your pack. So the first pack that I ever had that you could do that was my old trusty Z-Packs Arc Haul. And it has like these just these little, I mean, nothing things, but you know, it's got a little loopity doodad tied or stitched in it there, and then one stitched right there. But yeah, and then the new ULA pack that I have, it's got more substantial, but still, you know. And this one's kind of nice. I don't use it this way, but it's got like an actual hook thingy. There we go. Childproof. So you could actually, you know, hook it with the little hook and loop thing, and then it'll tighten and loosen. But yeah, they're just loops that tighten and loosen basically on the bottom of the pack. And if you're going to sew something on, like you already got packs that you like, then you want to make sure that the stuff sack you're going to have it in is oblong enough that it will go through both loops. The X-Mid packs down, instead of, it's not quite as long as the Z-Packs Duplex. It packs down more like a ball. So I would probably end up putting that in a different stuff sack. You know, you can get a more oblong stuff sack. So anyway, kind of like paracord. Yeah, I mean, you could do something like paracord, but yeah, this Z-Packs are called, it's thinner, but yeah, it's kind of like a paracord type thing. Would it be a terrible idea to attempt to through hike the AT without planning ahead and just figure it out as I go? No, it wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, as far as, I think you need to get your gear dialed in. Like, you don't even have to use it, but you know, make sure it's decent quality from reviews or whatever. If you already have it, then you know, you already know that you've got gear that you are comfortable backpacking in. Throw in what you would take to go on a backpacking trip. Pack food for, you know, the first, 30 something miles if you do the approach trail, and then resupply when you get there. And you'll hear about places that you might want to send a package to, but mountain crossings, they've got food. You know, it'll be more expensive potentially than if you were to just mail something to yourself, but for the most part along the AT you can just go and figure it out. And if there's going to be a town that has real slim pickings with food, you're going to hear about it, like I said, ahead of time, and you can shop in another town and mail yourself something to that town. But I feel like most of the places, especially on the AT with how well trafficked it is, they've learned like, hey, we can make money off of packers. So they want to do that, and they're gonna, you know, offer some things. So, and if you had to live off of Doritos for a few days, like, you can do it, you know. So no, in fact, I think you would be less stressed that way. Where do you put your camera gear in your pack so that it's easily accessible, so that it just fits in general? Okay, great question. So my trail cam, when I was on the trail with the Eclipse, went in the mesh. Well, this isn't really quite mesh, but the back pocket, or some people call it the front pocket. Here's the thing. I want the things that I'm going to be accessing the most to be within reach as I'm walking down the trail. But I want things that, like when I get to camp and I take off my pack, I don't want to have to go digging through my pack to get to that trail cam. I want to get to camp, figure out where I'm going to set it up, and go do that. So that way, once I get my tent up and I get all that set up, I can climb in and like relax, right? So I just put it here. My gimbal thing. Normally my other pack, I had pockets on the straps, and I really liked that. Now you can order pockets to go on shoulder straps if they don't already come on it. I put the DJI pocket gimbal usually on a shoulder strap. I did not have that for the Eclipse, so I put it in one of my my drink pouches on the side. Tripods, my little tripod here, and also my large tripod I put in one side, and then usually I put my water on the other side. You know, I try to balance my side pockets as much as possible. My Sony RX100, which is my like slow-mo camera when I get the butterflies and stuff like that, it goes in my hip belt pocket. If I had a shoulder pocket, it would go in the other one of those. To pad it a little bit, I use a koozie and just slide it in there. And then my GoPro, I normally keep it, it's actually not turning on right now. I'm really frustrated, but I've had also a fanny pack before where I would carry some of the smaller things like my cell phone or my GoPro or my whatever in that, or lenses. So different lenses if I have my macro lens. So I've used a fanny pack before, but the GoPro, sometimes I put my back pouch thing too, because I'm only using that if it rains or if I'm getting an underwater shot. And most of the time, if I'm going to get an underwater shot, then I'll go ahead and take my pack off for a second too. So that's just kind of how I do it in my mind. I want certain things to be super accessible, like my pocket, because, you know, I do selfies with that or just walking down the trail and I don't want to have to take my pack off to do that. The slow-mo stuff, it's like, I see a butterfly and right now I need to shoot it. So I need it super close. Oh, and then my, my big camera, my Sony, wow, I can't even remember which one it is. It goes on the Peak Designs clip. So now I wish that I had, taken Aaron's suggestion, and I meant to do this and asked, ULA packs to not put one of the hip belts on, because if I can put the Peak Designs clip on the hip belt, it is way more comfortable than carrying it on my shoulder because that camera is heavy with the lens that I have on it. So if I could opt for one hip belt pocket to not be there and put that Peak Designs clip on my hip belt, I would do that. So anyway, I hope that helps. Sorry, I got off on a little tangent, and that's just the way I think about it. You know, my tripod, I don't want to have to stop and pull out a tripod because then I'm not going to do it. If I have to stop and take my pack off to access every piece of camera equipment, I would never end up recording anything because I'd be like, is it worth taking my pack off for, you know? And you're never guaranteed you're going to get a good shot. So sorry, I feel like I'm bombarding you with questions. No, that's what the Q&A is for, literally. But how do you protect the camera gear in your pack without bringing gigantic heavy cases and stuff? So because most of the gear I carry on, you know, in accessible places, let me show you real quick. The gimbal is protected, you know, with this case part right here. So this I just have in my hip belt pocket, or my hip belt pocket, my cup holder side pockets like that. And so, I mean, it's pretty well protected. And then my big camera, I carry it on my shoulder, you know, so it's protected there. Now, if I do have to put it in my pack because it's like a downpour, then I have one of those stuff sacks from Z-Packs that has like the fleece lining in it. So that kind of helps protect it a little bit. You know, I put it in there and then roll it up in that. I also bring some big Ziploc bags, but I don't know. I feel like everything, even my lenses and stuff, I'll have them in Ziploc bags, and just that little bit of plastic between them, I feel like prevents them from scratching each other up too much. Plus they have lens caps on them, you know? And I mean, the thing is, I kind of use this stuff till it wears out. So it's not like I'm trying to keep it pristine to sell it, you know. If I can sell it, fantastic. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like also bandanas, just that little bit of material, and they're lightweight, wrapped around something and then put in a stuff sack. And then when I put it in my pack, I'm just kind of careful, you know, where I put it. Like the only thing sitting on top of that stuff would be like my food bag, and that's not gonna crush it seriously or anything. So I don't know. I hope that helps. And then the trail cam, I don't want the sensor and like the cameras to get all janky. So I just do like this, wrap the strap around it, and then I stick it in a stuff sack. That's it. and then put it down in my pack. And then do you just have separate plastic bag for batteries, cords? Yes. So I actually carry like a gallon Ziploc bag, and I'll put extra batteries in there. I'll put, I like to carry, hold on. I like to carry like a microfiber cloth so I can clean any of the lenses. And actually my GoPro, I used to just wrap in a microfiber cloth. That was like its cushion thing. But I also, yeah, carry like my battery banks and things like that, just in a big gallon Ziploc with extra cords. You can do smaller Ziplocs to separate it. You could do a fancy, you know, stuff sack if you wanted to. But also with the cameras, this is like a little squeegee thing for the sensor. So if I have a piece of crud, because it happens sometimes and you're like, "Gah," but you don't want to like stick your finger in there to move the crud. Like you don't want to touch the sensor. So there are little bulb things that you can like squirt air or whatever, like squirt air, like floof air onto it with. But I've found this thing to be just super helpful. If I have to like just dry, you know, holding at an angle, it says hold the handle at a 60-degree angle off the surface of the sensor. But yeah, just go across it one way, hold it the other way, go across it, and then I've never had something that didn't come off from that. But this weighs nothing, and to just have that peace of mind that if there's a speck and it's like a black spot is on every video or picture in your case, then you know you can get that off. So anyway, but yeah, backup batteries, cords, battery banks. I even carry extra camera batteries, like the, you know, battery made for the camera. I'll carry a few of those. But do you mount the gimbal on your shoulder like a parrot? No, I just hold it. If I had it on my shoulder, it would, you know. So I just, let's see. I just like hold it like this, and, you know, try to hold it still. I mean, it's a gimbal, but still, you know, if you're doing this, but yeah, just hold it and walk. And this is like a little tripod thingy that came with it. It screws off, but, and then I actually have the extra battery pack too, so it gives extra battery life. So it's actually this small at its smallest thing. But I will say you can't mount the tripod to this part. So you have to have this connected to have the little hole for the tripod thingy. So, but yeah, I like this. I like this new one. It's nice. Sensor cleaning would be a good thing to do indoors for sure. It would be better to do it indoors. But when you have a black spot on your sensor and your videos are going to have a black spot, I have done it in my tent. Actually, I've probably done it in my tent more than I have in indoors in normal life. And here's the thing is I didn't get all of this gear at one time, right? Like I first got the Sony RX100, like the first one I ever had. And then, you know, like actually the first thing I ever added was probably this little tripod. It's seen better days, but anyway, then, you know, just kind of kept piecing together. It's like, okay, how can I make my walking and talking videos more stable? Okay, well, let's add the DJI. You know, then the trail cam. I want to know what peeps around my tent site at night. And so you just slowly start adding things. And the Sony RX100, I added that mainly because of the slow motion. It's slow-mo is so good. And I was able to get like butterflies flying and things like that. So, do you still use your phone that much to take quick videos, or does the gimbal replace that? So I still used my phone for selfie for like pretty much until I got this, because the other one, this actually has like a little mic that you can Bluetooth to it. With this, it connects, and I really like that. It's just simple. But before I would have to like unplug from my phone and plug into the gimbal and this and that, whatever. And so I just, up until recently, I was still using my phone for most selfie stuff, but now this has taken over. So this last trip, I would say like, I don't know, maybe 1% of the videos that I took were with my phone. It might be like a quick shot of a bug real quick, or like me stirring food in my pot because maybe the other cameras are doing something else at the time or whatever, you know. So, but yeah, I use my phone significantly less now. I'm curious about the weight of all your camera gear. Your nature photography is so good. Thank you, Sandra. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't know how much everything weighs, and I have hesitated to get that number because I don't want to think about the exact amount of weight on my back. It's like, oh, I don't know, you know, ignorance is bliss kind of thing. So, but I'm sure it's pretty heavy. I mean, the tripod, I mean, this tripod right here is like, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 pounds or something. And then, you know, all the cameras and the, it's ridiculous. It's like, oh, let me get my pack as light as I can in weight so that I can add one more piece of camera equipment. But I mean, it is impressive how these things pack up, but like, I don't even hesitate to bring this thing because it's been so useful. I can't put the big camera, you know, to get a star time lapse on this. And so, and then just even having the ability to get time lapses like high up off the ground. Before, everything that I ever filmed with a tripod was like on the ground or wrapped around a branch of a tree, you know? And so I would never want to leave this behind. And it's so heavy. It's ridiculous, truly. But I don't know. I enjoy it. I have fun with it. What was the trail cam that someone tried to steal? This one. This guy right here. And I mean, it was strapped to a tree. Okay, so here's the thing. I had it in a more hidden location, but I didn't capture anything in like 2 days. And so I wanted to move it to like a more, because animals like to use the highway too, right? Like they like the easy path. They don't want to doo-doo on grass blades and tickle their booties if they don't have to, right? Like they like the clearings too, especially at night when they feel more safe, or for the animals that, you know, wander around at night. So I tried to find like a more private spot on the main trail for this, but everywhere that I would kind of tuck it, I was like, ooh, if somebody had to pee, they would probably come to this spot. And so I didn't want to, you know, catch somebody with their thing out, or, you know, a girl pulling her britches down. And so I was trying to be considerate. So I put it like right on the main path. It was obvious that it was right there. It was not somewhere where somebody was going to try to do a private thing. So, you know, just trying to, like I said, be thoughtful. And I thought, well, surely nobody will steal it. But next time I'm going to put like, you know, Florida Panther study or some sticker on it, like property of U.S. government, will track down and, you know, send to prison anyone that steals it. But yeah, so it's not that difficult to figure out. Like it's a little, you know, strap like this, like a ratchet strap deal to fix it on the tree, and then to open it, that's it, you know. And the SD card goes in the side right there, and there's a little screen. So this dude was like, I mean, you could just see him. He's like pulling the camera around, but I'm like, what are you trying to do? It looks like he's trying to get it off of there or something, but I guess he couldn't figure it out. So anyway, yep, that was the trail cam. What's an unexpected expense you had while hiking a long trail? Unexpected. I guess the biggest unexpected expense that I really had was having to go home for an emergency. My dog got sick, and I tried to make it home on time to hopefully see her come home from the hospital, but she ended up passing away. So you know, making that emergency trip home, renting a car, the gas money, all that, that was definitely unexpected. So, you know, you got to plan for emergencies. I'm trying to think if there was any other, you know, with the AT, I kind of expected to potentially switch out gear because I'd never used any of mine. Having to get my ingrown toenails cut out and go to the doctor visits, that, you know, was an unexpected expense. But again, you have to plan for things to happen because things are going to happen. So that's why I always say you can budget very tightly, but I would say save up as much as you can. The helicopter trip must have been pretty unexpected. Yes, there you go, Thomas. That's a good one. Yes, that was very unexpected. Do you often have a list of animals you want to try and film on a particular trail? It depends. So, like, you know, when I went to Florida, I mean, like, I want to see all the animals that are like known to an area, right? So, on the Florida Trail, obviously gators. The Florida panther would have been awesome. Wild hogs, black bears, a python if I could have. So you know, some of those things were on the bucket list. But one of the things that I learned about while I was down there, somebody's like, "Yeah, sometimes you can see otters," and I was like, "I want to see otters." So I still haven't seen otters in the wild, but I was like so close this time when I went to Florida. But anyway, so that's on the bucket list. So yeah, I'll kind of, you know, when I went to Mount Kilimanjaro, Aaron was like, "You're gonna see monkeys," and so I took like like the most zoom lens I had at that point, so I could get in as close as possible to see the monkeys. And I took that to Costa Rica too. And then for the Eclipse video, I mean, I didn't honestly expect to see a whole lot of wildlife on the Eagle Rock Loop, and we didn't, you know. But so yeah. But if like storks, you know, I went down when I went to Florida. I wanted to see storks so I could do the pregnancy announcement using storks. So anyway, I do usually know what wildlife will be there, and I want to see all of it, you know. And if there's something that's like, okay, well, I need to modify camera equipment for that thing, like having a super zoom lens, then that might be something that I modify. I have loved that y'all have had all this camera equipment question, and I'm not a guru when it comes to operating a camera. I mean, I've just kind of learned on the fly, and thankfully Aaron has taught me a lot along the way. So because he was the first one that was like, maybe you should get something better than just your cell phone. And I was like, it works, you know, why would I need anything else? But I'm so glad that I have slowly gotten things along the way, and he'll send me something else. And I think I remember from one of the videos you said you want to go to every state. How many do you have left? Yes. So I wanted to hit all 50 by the time I was 50, but I've done 49 already. So, and I did my 49th when I went to Michigan, I guess. So that was what, a couple years ago. So by like 34 or so, I was at 49. So Alaska is the last one. Resurrection Trail in Alaska. That's the one I'd love to hit. It's so beautiful everywhere there. Well, see, thanks for the suggestion, because like I don't even know where to begin when I think about Alaska. I missed 0.7 miles of connecting my footsteps on the AT. Don't tell the ATC. Hoping to plan a trip to catch that and then hike 80 more miles just for fun. Okay, so I don't remember if I told you all this or not, but after I finished my AT hike, I remembered that I had a parking lot. It was near, I can't remember. It was near Fontana Dam area, and I had gotten picked up in one spot and on the road. And then when she dropped us off, it was like in this parking lot. And it was like after I had completed my hike that it dawned on me. I think Riga mentioned it. And she was like, well, technically our footsteps don't connect, because remember we got dropped off in that parking lot. And I was like, wait, what? And it dawned on me that she was correct. So I went there to walk across the parking lot. Yeah. So I feel you. yeah, it's frustrating to realize that little piece, you know, but so props for you for going to do it. And then extra too. Have you ever thought about doing a service for hikers to help them plan a hike? I get analysis paralysis bad. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. You know, I haven't done like plan all the details of a through hike or something like that, but I've certainly chatted with people who are planning um, long distance hikes before they go, and kind of talk them through if they have specific questions and things like that. So, but I mean, and Donna, while we're on these Q&As, like this is, you know, open time. So if you are prepping for something like that and you have questions, then yeah, for sure. You talked me through so much for my AT hike. Should have paid you a fee. Hey, but like, I love sharing the wealth because it's like, I mean, that's how people go, right? You don't have the knowledge. And I remember having all these questions and there was like nobody that I could ask. So I just had to like Google stuff, and I didn't even think about YouTube at the time. So I read blogs and it's just like, well, I'm going to figure it out. So over 5 years ago now. Whoa. That's wild to think that it's been that long. For me, next year will be 10. That's crazy. It's crazy how time flies. But I think about all the cool stuff I've gotten to do since then, you know, thanks to y'all. And seriously, I mean, and I know I say that a lot. Like, thank you can never be enough, because if it was only, you know, if I was only getting income from YouTube, I couldn't have done this as long as I have. So if it wasn't for Patreon, it wouldn't be my job. But I do want y'all to know that I very much appreciate y'all, and just being able to still go out and backpack, and especially those of y'all that have stuck with me through the period from August to, you know, April when I couldn't even get out and backpack. So I don't know. I guess y'all believed in me that I would still get back out there and do it again. And so that means a lot to me. So anyway, so thank you. And that's the thing too, is I don't take that personal or anything like that. So it doesn't, I don't know. I would never feel like, oh, that's the person that left me or what, you know what I mean? Never. And still, like, if anybody's ever been a patron and then they're not for a while and you still have questions about something, like, please message me. I don't care if your credit card is not active on the website. Like, we've built a community here. And if you've been a part of this community before, like, you're always a part of it. I'm glad that people have ever been here and ever supported and helped me along the way. So, if you're a patron, you're a patron, you know? So, cause I've had people that are like, sign up and say, oh, I wish I could do more. Whatever. Like, I'm just glad you're here. So, anyway, just y'all don't ever feel like weird about things like that. I hope. So anyway, I love how you are about community. It's great to be a part of it with everyone here. Yeah, that's what I want. I want it to be a guilt-free, happy place that we come and hang out. And if you want to be here, great. And if you're busy or like you just don't want to, that's okay too, you know? So I enjoy these. I enjoy getting on and chatting and laughing and, you know, some of the stuff we've shared, I don't know, over the years, we've had some hearts. I've cried on these. Like, it's just fun. I will never forget my Patreon family, my Patramily. Well, does anybody else have any other thing, question, whatever? I know these usually don't go quite as long as our Zooms. I am happy to stay here if y'all do have any questions, but maybe, yeah, we were more serious tonight at the end than some of the times. But yeah, also I think it's the Zoom vibe. It's like, you know, a campfire chat. With this, it's just like me talking nonstop, just my face. All right, y'all. Well, have a good night. Everybody sleep good and have a good rest of the week. And I appreciate y'all tuning in and hanging out. It was a good time. So, all right. Bye, y'all.